This is The Scoop for Friday.
I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines. It was close, but the amendment that would have enshrined abortion rights in Florida did not reach the 60% threshold required to pass on election night. Lauren Brenzel is Yes on 4's campaign director. She says the measure's failure was the culmination of attacks from government employees, like Governor Ron DeSantis, who toured the state calling the amendment ill-defined and deceptive.
We saw the utilization of tens of millions of dollars in taxpayer funding. We saw lies told about parental consent and about later in pregnancy abortion.
While more than 6 million Floridians voted in favor of the referendum, it wasn't enough. The Sunshine State has some of the toughest requirements to pass constitutional amendments. The Florida law banning abortion after 6 weeks will stay in effect. But Brenzel says in the upcoming legislative session, organizers for the amendment will continue their fight to overturn the law. Florida Republicans had soaring success in Tuesday's election. They will remain in the supermajority in the state House. WMNF's Chris Young reports one Democratic state representative says despite the election results, she's hopeful for what's to come.
Democratic Representative Diane Hart, who won re-election this year for a district in Hillsborough County, will face a lot of opposition heading into the next legislative session for the State House of Representatives.
We're going back to Tallahassee in a super minority position.
Meanwhile, Florida Politics reports incoming Republican House Speaker Daniel Perez is restructuring the House, creating a, quote, leaner structure with fewer committee chairs. Hart says she hopes Perez's changes will bring more opportunities for bipartisan collaboration.
My hope is that this is going to allow us an opportunity to work closer together. Because no matter how you cut this thing, we have got to work together in the Florida legislature to make life better for everybody.
Next year's legislative session begins March 4th. Chris Young, WMNF News.
A California-based company has appealed after a federal judge last month rejected a request for a preliminary injunction against a new law that bans the sale and manufacture of cultivated meat in Florida. Upside Foods filed the lawsuit in August, challenging the constitutionality of the law, which was approved this year by Governor Ron DeSantis and the legislature. The law makes it a second-degree misdemeanor to sell or manufacture cultivated meat, which is often known as lab-grown meat. After winning a second term this week, Florida State Representative Adam Anderson, a Republican from Palm Harbor, has opened a campaign account to seek re-election in 2026. That's according to the Florida Division of Elections website. Anderson became the first incumbent House Republican to open an account for 2026, though 7 Democrats have taken that step. Also, 14 incumbent senators have opened accounts for 2026. The art focal point of the St. Pete Pier is coming down to see if it can be repaired. The bending arc sculpture by artist Janet Eckelman was damaged in this season's storms. The Tampa Bay Times reports that St. Pete's city development manager says there's a likely sustainable fix, but it involves bringing the web-like sculpture down first. The art cost more than $1.6 million to create and install. Are you looking for something unique to experience this weekend? The annual Flugtag event will be in Tampa for the first time in more than a decade. WMNF's Kylie Petrasic reports 30 teams are competing, including an all-women group.
Red Bull's Flugtag, which is German for Flying Day, is returning to Tampa for the first time since 2011 on Saturday. Teams compete by pushing a pilot flying a handmade ship off of a 27-foot airstrip into Tampa Bay. The all-women group Disco Pirates crew will be in attendance. CEO and pilot Jeannie Yu says the event creates something beautiful and magical.
I feel like being a woman in this case is kind of our superpower because they're not going to see what's coming.
Organizers encourage teams to build airships out of floatable materials such as wood and foam. Yu says the Disco Pirates used PVC pipes and nylon to make their glider as light as possible.
Each tiny mirror on the disco ball represents an individual reflecting their own unique light and potential. But when all these mirrors come together, they create something even more magnificent.
An estimated 80,000 spectators will be in attendance at the Tampa Convention Center. Because of the central location, part of Bayshore Boulevard, Franklin Street, and the West Platte Street Bridge will be closed as early as 8 a.m. on Saturday. Attendees are encouraged to use alternative transportation such as the Tico streetcar or Dash services. Kylie Petrasic, WMNF News.
It will be partly cloudy and hot today with highs in the high 80s. Tonight, mostly cloudy, overnight lows in the low 70s. Tomorrow, cloudy, breezy, and hot with highs in the high 80s. I'm Sean Canan with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.